Okay, let's start talking about mouse look. So in a simple scene that I open, I can create a capsule. So I'm going to create a 3D object as a capsule to represent my player, and I'm going to place this capsule in the scene. Now, you'll notice that the capsule ended up somewhere down below the world, which isn't very helpful for us. We know that our scene from selecting it, or our structure from selecting it, is at position 000. If I select my capsule, and then click on this little options menu and hit reset, it'll reset the position of my capsule to be 000 with the rest of my scene. Now I'm going to place the capsule just above the ground. Once we give the capsule a character controller, the capsule will fall to the ground when the game starts, or we can just readjust the capsule's actual position to meet the ground when we need it. So as this is going to be a first person camera, I want my camera to be on top of my capsule to reflect a first person view in a game. So the first thing I'm going to do is grab my main camera, which we can see in game view is situated just above the scene, um, to be a child of my player capsule. So when my player capsule changes position and rotation, the camera will remain attached to the capsule and have the exact same position and rotation as its parent. So I'm going to drag the camera down to the capsule, and you'll see that the camera's position changed. This is its new position relative to the player capsule. The camera now is capsule relative. So I'm going to bring the capsule or the camera just above my capsule and forward slightly, so that way when I look down I don't actually see the capsule. Perfect. So now it currently doesn't do anything, but we're going to add two scripts, one to move the camera in the vertical and one to move the capsule in the horizontal. The reason we attach the vertical look to the camera and not the capsule itself is because if we rotated the entire capsule when we looked, the capsule would do kind of one of these, which okay, so now that I got my camera set to about 1 in the Y and zero point 0.5 in the Z, so it's just above the and just in front of the player, I'm ready to add some code to move the camera vertically and add some code to move the capsule horizontally. So I'm going to add my vertical look script to my main camera and my horizontal look script to my capsule. And when I press play, you can see that I now can look freely through the character's perspective. Awesome. One thing I'm going to notice is if I go all the way up and all the way down, I don't actually look around and do flips. And now let's take a look at the code and see why. So when I'm looking at the vertical look, you notice I have a float for constrain vert. That's being used with my math.clamp method. Math.clamp will take the vertical rotation and clamp it within a set of constraints. Now, the constraints are going to be negative 45 degrees and positive 45 degrees. And I'm clamping its vertical rotation. So my vertical rotation is going to be set equal to, and if we look at the helper text here, the value, which is going to be the vertical rotation, and we have our minimum and maximum floats. So what this will do is it'll take whatever our rotation is. If our rotation goes above this 45 degree point, it'll clamp it within that positive 45 degrees and negative 45 degrees. Then we take that position and use it to transform our camera, or set a transform for our camera. And then here we actually, I'm trying to rotate the camera left and right rather than up and down. It'll take the previous position, Y rotational position, so the left and right rotation, and set it to what it was previously. So that'll prevent me from going left and right with my camera. So that's how the script works. It's fairly intuitive once you get the API down a little bit. Let me know if you have any other questions on the script itself. The horizontal look. All we do here is we set a float variable for the mouse sensitivity, so that's the speed in which the mouse can move the character. And we use the transform component. We access its rotate method, and we rotate our x and z axes as 0. We don't rotate on the x and z axes.